Some Jesse Minute right here on the Tony Jones Show. The unfortunately now defunct Jesse Minute. Cinnamon, the name of that one. Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. On the almighty Twitter at Tony Jones NRI. Be sure to check out TonyJones.org. And, of course, I humbly ask you to check out RIFreeRadio.org for all your web entertainment needs. George Garner is here co-hosting with me. George, good evening.
Good evening.
And we're speaking with Rachel. Why can I not say your name tonight? It's because it's 100 degrees in here. That's why. Unfortunately, if you want to go to Rhode Island Free Radio and donate, we really need an air conditioner down here. And man, I'm melting.
Yeah, we're not talking about donate, money a little bit at a time. We're talking bring the freaking air conditioner.
Yeah. Just grab the spare air conditioner from your basement or your mom's
place
basement.
of business.
Right. Just steal one and bring it down to us. But we are talking with Rachel McIntosh, and the series is Security Through Absurdity. Kind of bring us backwards to the beginning. So you drew up this whole huge novel and then broke it down into The Big Show, Bubbles Will Pop, and little yellow stickers. Stickies.
Yeah. The sticky notes. The first book is about me the character. I have to make this very clear that everything we're going to talk about is about a character who is based on me, but she's working in this fictional Homeland Security contractor's office. And the CEO of that company communicated with Post-it notes, little yellow stickies.
We don't even do that here.
Well, the reason why
we thought about it, but we don't do
it.
Right.
The reason why he did that is because they couldn't be logged in or tracked. Well, I think I told you I got this job at the defense contractor at that time, and my character Jocelyn got the job because she knew how to use email, and nobody at that place did. And her job when she first gets there is to march around and pick up the emails that people have printed out because they didn't know how to use forward. They didn't know how to just press forward. And so she collected the emails from everybody 3 times a day, the office complex, made photocopies of them and distributed them to who they were supposed to be forwarded to and logged them into a logbook. The CEO of the company didn't have to do that. He just told people what to do on a Post-it note. And, of course, there was never ever a record of that.
So was this what we would consider to be top secret information, or was this day-to-day information, or was this...
This is just any old thing. Like whatever he wanted to tell somebody to do, he just wrote it down on and people jumped. They did whatever.
Right.
And most people, because it was very compartmentalized, people had jobs. They didn't know what the other people were doing in the place. If you got the sticky, that meant, well, just do it. It didn't matter what everybody else was working on. Just stop what you're doing and just do this.
That sounds like almost every poorly run company that I have had the privilege of working. And it's amazing the people that become VPs and CEOs of these major corporations. Well, that's the idea, is you
kick up the biggest idiots upstairs so that they don't interfere with the daily running in the office floor. And I think and the scary thing is, the takeaway from this is not the individual information. It's the idea that incompetent, moronic idiots, exist. But anyway, that's
all over.
But guess what? These people make a ton of money. This works for them. This works for them, not necessarily the normal people.
Well, of course it
Yeah.
does. That's why the federal government is the biggest employer nowadays, because we have the most idiots. I mean, there's a correlation there.
So how does that translate into the second book?
Oh, well, the second book is after the character finds out that she's pregnant and quits the job. Then it translates because some of these things are following her. These, for instance, the Congress,
No people.
the congressman that she had to deal with, who was quite lecherous. She consults him because she wants to sort of maybe get a job, and she has to deal with him. And then that's when she gets involved with the politics stuff online. She sees a couple cool YouTubes and has to then goes to a Raymond Pierce meetup, an RP meetup, and inadvertently becomes in charge of that whole meetup for the state.
And, incidentally, I mean, it's that alternative media that we always talk about here on the show. We go back with that really does bring people into different movements. You just talked about seeing a YouTube video, and people kind of really they scratch the surface on podcasts and YouTube videos now, and it really brings them into different movements, either for it or throwing out the hate and being against it.
Right. But it creates interest and activity, so it's doing its job. It's just the other big question, though, is, does it last? In other words,
Right.
That's the attention getter. That's the bait, depending on the situation. But, do these people stay interested, or they kind of fall away, for good or evil?
Well, I don't know what the answer is to that.
But that was more of a rhetorical
That-
question.
yes,
But especially when it comes to politics and elections, that's the big question.
Well, what I've come to kind of realize is that, and this goes back to this first book, the main character gets kind of roped into doing these phone meetings, these phone conferences, because her boss doesn't want to, and it's about open source information gathering, open source intelligence. And she doesn't know what OSINT is, and she had a lot of reading to do for each one of these meetings, and she didn't know what the heck she was doing. And one day she just got pissed off enough to bust in and say, I don't understand this, because it seemed like they wanted everything to be online and free and open for everybody to look at. And she asked the question, is this everything from like the blueprints to the White House to the nuclear power plant down the street? Where do you cut the line? And one guy was very pro this idea. And he was like, yes, in a perfect world, but that's not what we're doing. And Jocelyn's like, well, how long does this information get gathered? Because they're trying to gather up in this open source conversation she was having, gather up who the troublemaking elements, like groups of people. It was almost like market research was being done on the online community. And this was right before, literally, the year YouTube got launched. And my main character doesn't realize that she was listening to a conversation about how the U.S. government was going to be interfacing with YouTube. What she did realize, though, is there was no one from the CIA at that phone conference, which was interesting to her. However, the BBC was there, and she didn't realize why the BBC would be in a conversation about U.S. secrets.
And the technology on that side has grown and grown over the years of how your algorithms are monitored to be marketed to. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but I swear to God, I'll be thinking about, I'd really like to have a Barks root beer today, and on Google or in a Facebook feed will be an ad for Barks root beer, and it's just, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, well,
at this point.
I don't think you have to be a conspiracy theorist. What's mind blowing?
Wait a second. What's wrong with the word conspiracy?
Well, initially nothing, except that the way it's used today, it's kind of like the word freedom.
Yeah.
It's kind of like knocked all to hell.
Yeah.
It's
there kind of like the word liberty movement.
There wouldn't be radio without
Right.
conspiracy theorists, right? Those guys are the ones making the big bucks.
That's right.
Right. But what I was going to say before addressing that well-timed comment is that the amazing thing is the depth of insight and psychological penetration these companies and organizations have working for them. That's what it is. In other words, it's not so much a conspiracy in any sense of the word. It's just plain old simple psychological knowledge, not profiling.
Coupled with technology.
Coupled with technology. It's created, well, I don't want to say a monster, that's a cliche, but it's created an ultimate information gathering service. I mean, Google does it, Facebook does it, some of the more obscure up and coming contenders do it. Yeah, it's not, you don't even have to rise to the level of what some people call conspiracy in the big sense of the word, because they're telling you what they're doing. It's right there in your face on Facebook and Google. They're asking you your personal life story.
They're just trying to enhance the end user experience. That's what it's called, enhancing the end user experience, and that's why you're getting these ads for root beer.
And of course, those of us that make money on the other side of this, as far as when people click through and Google AdSense and that nature, it's tough to be too critical on it, because YouTube has created just regular dudes making content and turned them into millionaires. So there's a free market aspect to it too. It's really bizarre.
Right, and that's, in a way, that's one of the most insidious things about it, because the very thing that makes it so dangerous is what makes it so enticing and actually, what would you say, ethically appealing to the conservative, to the libertarian, to the free market person, to the cat. In other words, it's for different reasons. It's appealing to everybody right across the board, which is just, and that's just another way that they accumulate all their psychological know-how.
Bringing it back to the book, in my second and third book, there's this like ultimate bad guy, and he wears a very, very expensive cologne. Long story short, I find that cologne advertised on my computer all the time now, and I never ever Googled that thing. I never Googled it, so they're reading my. Why would they even bring that to my attention? A man's cologne.
Oh yeah, no, the algorithms that are, and just like I'm not, this, that, the other thing. I'm not a technological expert. I'm not an expert on the cutting edge, but it seems the algorithms they're using now, it's unimaginable. The connections that can be made. It's not a human brain yet, but almost.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get back to spinning some more music. That way, Google AdSense.
Something music that's not so scary.
Well,
do you have any Fugazi?
Google AdSense needs to cut me some more checks, and so does YouTube and all those guys. So
roll it.
We're going to get to. Actually, this is the band that's going to be in studio with me next week, 1 week from tonight, and then after that, we're going to hear from the band that was in studio with me 1 week ago. See how I did that? That's why I'm a broadcasting professional.
Nice. I am impressed.
We're going to hear from Shore City now, the ghost of John Crosland. They have a big show coming up. We'll talk about that, too, in a couple minutes. Right.